Hi, this is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and this is Monday, July the 2nd. This will serve as our chart lesson for today. It's probably going to be a really slow and a low volume week. My guess is most of your New York types are on vacation this week. Most of them will take the week off for the July 4th. We'll probably trade tomorrow. We'll probably come in and at least look at the market and see if we can't get a trade or two going tomorrow. Probably it for the week. We'll probably take the rest of the week off. We may trade on Friday. It just depends. I don't think I'm going anywhere for July 4th since we just got back from Brazil. So it just depends. If there's no chart lessons, you'll know why. Again, the markets are probably going to be thin, and it's probably going to be really slow, and probably a lot of what we saw today, which is just basically about a 10-point trading range. The lows around 1350, and your highs up here around 1360. We actually got up to about 1362 or so, but most of your price action today was in a 10-point range, and that's not untypical for a holiday type week, which we are certainly in this week with July 4th, and you'll get a lot of traders that'll take a good bit of the summer off, and last couple of weeks of the year completely off, and so it's not untypical for prices to really get range bound like this, like we had today. And then too, every now and then we get a surprise, so who knows. But let's get into today, and so we can try to keep this under 10 minutes today. There's not a whole lot of entries today. It was pretty standard, this trading range. Hopefully you were able to find this, and it really just started right off of the highs from Friday. And you can see that right there. We had that double top on Friday, and then we had the overnight trading, and we jumped way up here above it. But that's not uncommon to see a break or two above that. So you could have moved this up, but if you did, you still should have probably found this little double top right here. But basically what this is this is where your resistance was forming, and you see we never, even when we got above it, it never really held. It tried to hold right here, but this is in the overnight. But once the regular, we kind of got into the regular hours right here, it never held above there at all. It shot above it and trapped people and then headed lower. And hopefully you can see this little two-legged move right here. You had leg one, and then you had a little correction, and then leg two right there. So that's a two-legged correction that broke above, formed a double top. A lot of resistance up here. So this was a great place to go short. Did we know it was going to fall like this? No. But that's why we hold runners as well, and this was the trade of the day. And if you caught this and you had a runner going, or if you held with your trade, you probably made all your money right here, and I pretty much did. So I was pretty much done trading today by 9:30 or so. It was a really, really good trading day as far as this move goes. If you caught it, if you didn't catch that, it was kind of boring, and you kind of had to wait and sit around and see if something wasn't going to happen. But let me go over each of the trades. I already talked about this, and this is just a failed break at resistance up here. You could just call it a double top at the main resistance up here. But you can see how this was coming into play all day and even again late this afternoon right here. So this is definitely the stronger resistance area right here around 13.59 3/4. So keep that in mind. We may see that again tomorrow. We had a second entry short right here. Didn't know if we'd get much, didn't know if we'd get another leg. It's very doubtful we'd get another leg like that, but sometimes it happens. And so you definitely want to take this. It's a double top. It's a second entry short. There's a nice bearish reversal type bar right there. You might have been a little leery about these lows here, but you should have been looking at this low over here, figuring that's what we were going to test. And you can see that's exactly where we went. So there was enough room there for that trade, and it is with the trend, so it was a nice second entry short, and that's the reason I marked it. Generally, your better ones are going to come off the EMA, but this was a really bearish sell-off right here, so you got to always be on the lookout that we may get another leg down, and so we may not come back to the EMA. But if you saw that double top right there and that two-legged move, second entry short, that was a good entry. Hopefully you did see it. There's another entry right here, and what this is a double top across here. You can see these highs right here, and then we had these highs and we broke above, so it's just a failure. It's also a there's kind of a two-legged move there. There's one leg in this leg, a pullback, and then there's two legs in the next leg. But hopefully you could see this double top, and it's really even again there. You can see those highs across there. So it's really a retest of this resistance area, and it's a nice turn right there with a nice bearish type bar. We're way away from the EMA there. So this was, you expect prices are probably going to come back and test these lows across here, but we actually came back all the way down and tested these lows. And then you got the same thing right here, just another retest of those highs. Should be real easy to see when you get this. Anytime you get resistance, put your line across there, and then you'll start to see it. And just if you keep going higher, just keep moving it to the next one until you finally catch that move again, or figure out where that move is going to happen at. And this was another nice one because we caught some runners. And here I thought we were going to get this second leg down. We didn't. We got several points out of it, probably 5 points. You probably could make 2 to 3 points easily out of that if you held a runner. But that was about it, and we stalled down here again and headed higher. And by that time, it was really obvious we were in a trading range. You can see that working across there. And really, I believe the lows are right across, really right across that area right there is where you got the most touches. And these are just failed breaks lower. And there was actually a long right here. I didn't mark it because it was down here, and there's all these overlapping bars. But there was a trap. You can see there's a first entry short. Let me back out of here a little bit so it's a little easier to see. There's your first entry short, and then your second entry short with a nice bearish reversal bar that failed, and then prices turned up. But you don't want to be going short way down here. Remember, I talked about that the other day during my live trade. If all this overlap was up here at resistance, that's different. But when you're down here at support, you don't want to be getting long at strong support. And it's obvious there's a lot of support right across there. And you can see how many times prices bounced and turned there. So it was really risky going short there. But when that second entry short failed and turned up, there was a long right there. And it was good for a scalp. That was it. But then we had this two-legged pullback to the trend line right here. So there's another entry right there. And this is a breakout pullback long as well. But this is not, if you didn't find this trend line, this was not really a good trade, but hopefully you saw that trend line, and that gives us credence because not only do we have some matching lows with a failed break and a two-legged type pullback to the EMA and the trend line, but we've got two higher highs in a row and a double bottom there. So, and we have this trap down here, so we know we've probably still got some trap shorts, and you had to ride out a little bit of pullback here, but it continued to move on and went higher. And my expectation was that we were at least coming to these highs right across here, because here's your highs at this point. Really at this point, since maybe 8:45 till now, we've been in a 5-point trading range, so to speak, really less than 5 points. But then we had another bigger two-legged. This is really your more the pattern we want to see. This is a nice two-legged measured move back, really easy to see. Almost anybody could have seen that, should have been able to see that. And you should have definitely seen your trend line up through here after 1, 2, 3, and this was your fourth touch of it. And they fooled people and made it like it was going lower, but it held on and reversed. And that's a nice second entry long right there, and there's plenty of room to scalp out before getting back up here. So I really thought we were going to head up back up here a lot quicker than we did. I was kind of surprised that that prices stalled up here like they did, and you just never know what they're going to do. And that's why we use runners, and that's why we exit and look to re-enter if things don't do what we expect, because you just don't always know. And this is just another two-legged pullback right here. Same thing with the entry right there, and that one took a little bit to work its way on higher, and it went higher too. And so, once we got through this right here, you should be thinking this is the target up here. And lo and behold, that's exactly where we went. We actually didn't quite get there. But again, this was the stronger resistance right across here. So hopefully you saw that. Okay, sorry, I had a little interruption there, but I think we were just about wrapped this up. This trade was actually getting late in the day here too, but it's still a two-legged pullback to the trend line, the EMA, and we're trending up, making higher highs and higher lows, and these are these are our money-making setups really when you're trending the two-legged pullbacks to the EMA and the trend line. Those will make you more money than just about anything, even if you only get a scalp out of them. They're generally high probability trades, and we use them to make a lot of money. So be sure you learn that pattern if you don't learn anything else. And just to recap, this was the majority of the trading day in this little tight range, but overall this was, I would say, this was it right across here. And you can see that resistance really coming in. Actually, it's probably more like right there. You get more touches, and you can see that coming in from Friday, so it shouldn't have been any surprise to be looking for resistance there. Of course, we shot a lot higher than that in the overnight, but in case this is the first time you've seen one of our videos, you'll get moves like this in the overnight that are, and then once you get back into the regular trading day, then you'll come back and that area will hold like so. So keep that in mind, and just understand that. But generally, that's the first place I'm looking for my resistance is whatever the lows are from the overnight. So these would have been my first two. Really, that one right there, because we had that high right there, and you can see that would have alerted you to that trade right there too. And you got that one tick up there that trapped people, and then we turned down, and boy, what a nice sell-off. So hopefully you understand why this was such a great trade and why we took it. The two legs, the resistance, the failed break above the really strong resistance right across there, and again, you can see where it came into play this afternoon. And so that's pretty much it for today. I'm going to wrap it up. We're about 12 minutes now, but there weren't a lot of entries today, but there were some pretty good ones, especially this one. And these are pretty solid standard entries here, these two-legged pullbacks, so learn to spot those. And then again, you know, we're always looking to enter at resistance, which can be, let me rephrase that. We're always looking to enter at strong support and strong resistance, and that's going to come at your lows, your highs, and but it's also your trend line. A trend line is just a slanted support and resistance line. It's just as important as this line right across here. So keep that in mind and look to enter at those spots. Sure, you'll get setups that are in the middle of all that, but they're not very high probability. They tend to fail more often. The high probability trades that will make you money most of the times are going to be at the strong support and resistance areas, which are what I call key entry points. So keep that in mind. I'm going to wrap it up today. If you traded today, I hope you had a great trading today, and we'll see you tomorrow more than likely, and then the rest of the week will be spotty based on what's going on. But anyway, this is Matt with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.